Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faith Black Lights, we take a look at this. And what this is from Gindo's, it is the Bacon Bourbon Ghost. Hot sauce, small batch, limited release. Hints of maple and vanilla for breakfast sandos. I'm not going to indulge. I'm not going to indulge in discussing a pet peeve of mine, but there's a word in that phrase, a sort of slang bit that I am not a fan of in the slightest. We've also got flatbreads, pulled pork, smoked brisket, burgers, and grilled veggies. And I could kind of see some of those things. I don't think that this one is obvious as to what it lends itself to, so I do appreciate this. All right, so we've got yellow bell pepper, distilled vinegar, water, red bell pepper, habanero pepper, maple syrup, bourbon, apple cider vinegar, ghost pepper, organic cane sugar, Himalayan salt, alderwood smoked salt, cayenne pepper, La Balienne salt. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Honey, ground peppercorn, and Addendum. So I don't see vanilla here. That's interesting that we're going to get notes of vanilla, but from what? From what? I don't know. I don't see anything that would lend itself to that. Huh. Well, honestly, I don't recall any vanilla notes. Oh, probably the bourbon, actually. Probably the bourbon. Where is... yeah, probably the bourbon. So it might be one that was... just maybe it was aged in a barrel that was going to give off some notes of that. I find this a really curious sauce, actually. You can see it's very, 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 very vibrant orange. It looks really good. It's honestly so vibrant, it almost looks artificial. But, I mean, it's a really good looking sauce, I think. Definitely very pulpy as well. And I'm imagining this color is maybe from a combination of the yellow and red bells and possibly also the habaneros. I'm not 100% I'm on the money there, but that's my guesswork. So let's get on into this, shall we? So I get a lot of bell pepper, some back end notes of bourbon, and maybe just a hint of the maple, actually. And there is a very, very sharp, sort of intense flame to it as well, which I imagine is probably the ghosty, but it is overall quite mild. This is not a super intense sauce by any means. There is a slight tinge of a bitter note to it as well, which is also probably the ghosties. But it is definitely not very sweet. It's interesting. I'm curious here as far as those habaneros, exactly what I think they're kind of contributing overall to the vibe of the pepper flavor, but it is predominantly bell. And are these roasted bells? It does not say that. So it is really an interesting sauce to me. I could see something like this working extremely well on something like a sub sandwich. And putting peppers on sub sandwiches outside of the brilliance that is Jersey Mike's and their pepper relish, that very nice cherry pepper relish. There is also Firehouse took it away for a while, and they've since brought it back, which is nice, I guess. But I don't like the way they keep their sauces, so I never have the sauces there. But the idea of hot sauces and sub sandwiches, I think, is a marvel. And this, I think, would go really well in there. I'm not sure I would want this on barbecue, though. I think it would be really interesting with the smoke flavor of the pulled pork and perhaps the brisket. I think it could work. It just doesn't strike me as something to be like, oh, I want to do that. Burgers. I don't think you can go wrong with peppers on burgers. Actually, when I get Five Guys, I usually get green peppers and the jalapenos both, just because I think peppers and burgers work extremely well together. Flatbreads, that's a little vague. Grilled veggies, again, also a little vague. But I could see this on something like grilled root vegetables, so parsnips, carrots, something along those lines for sure. Maybe a squash, nice squash. And breakfast foods, I'm not going to use that name. But breakfast foods, I could see where that might work as well. All right, so more chicken tendies. And then we will throw some here on the side for dipping, for dancing. It is excellent on these. This is another not every sauce is going to be great. Not every sauce from anybody is going to be great. Even Gindo's. And I like sauces like this that kind of fits in the middle. Because if every sauce is great, then none of the sauces are great, right? However, every sauce I've had from Gindo's, I would say, is a very high quality level standard, including this one. So if as far as this gets is like very good, which I would say is a very good sauce. If that's as far as high as the sauces go, you know, it's like shooting for the stars and just barely getting out of the atmosphere. That's still a pretty high trajectory. You know, when people ask me, just generally, you know, what's a good hot sauce to get? If I have time, we'll do a little 20 questions. What do you like? What do you want to put it on? How hot do you want to go, etc. But if it's just a vague sort of thing, or if I just don't have a lot of time, I feel confident in Gindo's and just pointing them to Gindo's, because I know that no matter what they pick, it's going to at least be at a minimum good. And I've given a few bottles of Gindo's away. And for the most part, to my knowledge, those people continue to keep it on hand and in their rotation. So, bacon, Bourbon Ghost is the name of the sauce. And I have steadfastly not ever gotten bacon flavor out of it. And it occurs to me now why. Looking at this ingredient list, same one I read off to you, same one I showed on camera, there is no bacon. Which is interesting. Because why? Why is this named a bacon Bourbon Ghost, yet there is no bacon in it? Well, I for one surely do not know. Also, the idea of smoke flavor in this, if there is, it is very minimal. I'm not getting a lot of smoke out of here. In fact, the only smoke I see is the alderwood smoked salt. I don't think there's any other smoke thing that would have a smoke flavor in there. So, I don't know what happened with this label. It is a touch odd. It's kind of interesting though, as I get more into this and I'm able to agitate it a lot more. That bite I had there was a very pepper fruity bite. That one, this next one had a lot more of the habanero flavor in it. I don't mind a sauce. I don't mind a sauce like that, where it starts strong and then you start picking little grace notes out of it. As you climb deeper and deeper into the bottle. You know, I think that was part of my confusion. Like, the sauce hasn't... Obviously like it, but I've been thinking that there was a note there that there was supposed to be there that I wasn't getting, that I could latch onto, and I think it is the smoke. If there was bacon in here, you would have a smoke flavor most likely. That's really bizarre. I wonder what happened. Well, in any case, whether there's actually bacon in here or not, and I've had, you know, that was a trend. So the hot sauce world has just gone through a lot of trends in the time that I've been sort of immersed in it since 2012 on. And like, I was in it before, but not that heavily. Once I started the blog, it was very deep into it. And there was a lot of trends. There was the carrot habanero for quite a while, and then bacon hot sauce. was a thing for a while. And then, of course, the tropical fruits with habaneros. And extracts were kind of a thing for a while, where they were in this sort of race to get the heat. Of course, once the Reaper came out and was released into the wild, a bazillion Reaper sauces kind of sprung up as well. I imagine the same happened with the Ghost, though that would have been obviously before that. And it did happen to a degree with the Scorpion as well. Point being, I have had some bacon hot sauces, and for the most part, I found a lot of them more interesting in concept than actual reality, right? So, like, I'm not somebody who does backflips and cartwheels over the idea of bacon. Like, bacon is fine, but, you know, the idea of, well, you can never have too much bacon, that's not true. You can have too much of everything. But for a while, that was, I mean, that was actually, I think, an extension of the food world itself, where it was bacon, 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 everything. Even though I think the hot sauce kind of stands apart from the rest of, you know, the food industry, but I'm getting so far. I hope you enjoy listening to me babble. Point being that I've had a lot of bacon sauces, and like I said, I've not loved the majority of those. So this one I really would have been interested to see what the magic hands of Gindo would have come up with actually having bacon in there. But, you know, as I said, it's not listed. I don't get it in the flavor. I don't see it in here. So I'm just a little confused as to what happened there. But like, I would like to try that sauce. And like, Gindo's is one that I keep meaning ever since I had whatever year it was I first had their sauces. I've been kind of meaning to keep a closer eye on them. And then I get carried away and start seeing all this other stuff that I've never seen before. And, you know, coverage is definitely a huge facet of things for me. And so I'm trying to cover as much as I can. And I really don't want any one company to be overrepresented, right? I want as big of a gamut as I can possibly make. And, but then I do remember that Gindo's, it's been a while since I've, you know, kind of been tinkering in their garden. So I come back and then remind myself that I really should do a better job keeping tabs on whatever's going on over there. So hopefully this will be the year I'll be able to do that. Certainly we're off to a good start, but we'll see how it progresses. There's a lot of the other pie in the sky stuff that is done. I don't need to redo a lot of that. So, you know, maybe this is the year of Gindos. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, as far as this one goes, this one is I like it a lot, but I can't say that I love it. And it is very flavorful. It's, to me, a little bit more intriguing than... It's by no means bad. It's just not... You know, they set the bar so high, so very high with some of the other sauces that, you know, you could take this sauce, put it in somebody else's stable, and it would probably be right among the best thing that they had. But because Gindo's is such rare air up there, it... you know, trying to outdo themselves is I think, going to be a challenge. So it isn't a real surprise when they don't all do that. But it's still, so it's a very excellent sauce, though, nonetheless, particularly in what it does with the pepper flavor, which is probably my favorite thing about this. So I would say it's worth a slug. Just don't expect bacon if you get it. And we'll leave it right there. So that was the Gindo's Bacon Bourbon Ghost Hot Sauce. Now go full in peace to serve the flame.